What up, everybody? It's Pollywood coming to you with the update. And today I thought we'd talk about something a little bit more fun. I listened to a podcast from Rolling Stone magazine. It's called Music Now. This week they happen to be talking about best live shows that they have seen. And so they had a panel there and they were just kind of reminiscing about some of the greatest live concerts that they've been to. In this time of social distancing and no large gatherings, of course, concerts are they're non-existent right now. But that doesn't mean we can't reminisce and enjoy, and I've been to a fair amount of concerts. So I figured I'd go and I would talk about some of my favorite concerts that I've been to. And I've been to a lot of concerts, and I'm thinking that I was going to break them up into different categories. So just because each concert experience is always it's a bit different than the other. Definitely going to a big stadium arena show versus going to a club show. So I thought I would break it down into different categories. So this first one, I'm going to go with the big concerts, the stadium arena shows. Next episode, I'll go with some of the theater shows. And then for the last one, I will do club shows. So without further ado, because if I ramble on, I'll run out of time. So I've been to a lot of stadium shows, and I'm just going to list them off. 5 of my favorites, and then maybe a couple honorable mentions at the end here. The first concert I wanted to talk about was the Beastie Boys In the Round tour in 1998. This was the tour in support of their album Hello Nasty with the song Intergalactic. My friend and I think he won tickets to the show, and we had no idea what we were getting into, really. I mean, I like the Beastie Boys, but we showed up at the venue and we're standing in line, and it turns out our tickets, they're floor tickets. We didn't even realize they were floor tickets. We just thought they were just tickets. So we had to go down through a special entrance, and we ended up on the floor and front row for that show, which was just phenomenal. And the other thing I'd like to say is that Tribe Called Quest, one of my favorite rap groups of all time, was the opening act. So not only did we get the Beastie Boys, who I absolutely love and adore, we got Tribe Called Quest as well. It was at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, and I've seen some great shows at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. When people talk to me about, favorite concerts, like what's the greatest concert you've been to, this is usually never far from the top of my list. I will always say that this is one to be remembered. It was just a highlight. And the fact that the Beastie Boys aren't together anymore, Adam Yauch dying a few years back, it just makes it all the more special. And same with Tribe Called Quest. Tribe Called Quest aren't together anymore as well. So just having that memory that I was actually privileged enough to go and see them, that's great. U2, I've seen U2 in concert 5 times. Every time I see them, it's just an amazing, euphoric experience. It was really hard to kind of pick a concert, but there is never a better. I think the first time is always the best time, particularly with U2. Just you don't even know what you're expecting, and then you get into it, and there's U2, and they're playing With or Without You, or One. The first time of experiencing that is always the best time. So the first time I saw them was on the Elevation tour in 2000, and that was over at Rogers Arena. That was touring All That You Can't Leave Behind. Needless to say, a memorable show. I was surprised at how many songs that they played from Acton Baby, which is one of my favorite. It is probably my favorite U2 album, actually. One of the reasons Acton Baby is my favorite U2 album is that they played so many songs off that album in that show, and it just sounded really good. Like when they played Mysterious Ways and just that seductive bass line weaving in and out of that song, I mean, the whole building was shaking. The next one I want to talk about is the Police Reunion Tour, and they reunited in 2007. And the first official concert was in Vancouver, and I had tickets to that show. And I went with another one of my buddies. Seeing the Police play live, again, like U2, a very euphoric experience. Not the same. The Police are a little bit more technical, a little bit more, they tend to jam out a little bit more on their songs than U2 does. But really, it was just, at that point, it's a victory lap, and they're playing the hits. Every Breath You Take, King of Pain, Roxanne, Message in a Bottle. It basically covered all the bases, and I think it was just phenomenal. And the fact that it was their first official concert in 30 years, or almost 30 years, I think is pretty incredible, and I'm pretty glad that I was able to catch that show. Okay, we're 3 in. Number 4, Paul McCartney. And I've seen Paul McCartney in concert 3 times. The second time, I think, was my favorite time. And that's just because he played in a smaller venue. He played at Rogers Arena. The first time and the last time I saw him, the first time was, I think, in 2012. And it was at BC Place. And then I saw him last year at BC Place as well. And both were good shows, and I really enjoyed them. But this time he played at Rogers Arena, and he's a Beatle. He's playing a lot of Beatles stuff. He's playing a lot of Wings, his solo stuff. I mean, the guy can go forever. I mean, he goes for 3 hours. And the fact that at the time he's in his mid-70s and he's going for 3 hours and he doesn't take a break. It's not like he goes off the stage and his band does a couple instrumental numbers. No, he's front and center for the whole show. So I thought that was great. Like, every time I see a McCartney show, I'm just floored at how he can still do it every night. The last concert was that I want to go into is Roger Waters' The Wall Tour, which I think I saw him in 2011. And if you don't know who Roger Waters is, I'll just say Pink Floyd. Probably the primary songwriter in Pink Floyd, particularly in the 70s. He really drove the creation of The Wall as a concept album in the late 70s. I think The Wall came out 79, maybe 1980. They took it on tour, but they weren't able to really tour it all that well because it was such an elaborate stage show that the technology at the time really couldn't keep up to the ambition that they wanted to portray. And Roger Waters has done a solo thing, and he decided a few years ago that he was going to revive The Wall and take it on tour himself with the big stage presentation. And this was at BC Place. If you haven't heard The Wall, go listen to The Wall. It's a phenomenal piece of rock opera. In the live show, it's split into 2 acts. Act 1, there is a wall that's literally being constructed on the stage as the band is performing the first act. The second act, a lot of the performance is taking place behind the wall, so the audience can't even see the band for a lot of it, but they're seeing projections on the wall, and so there's a whole different kind of show aspect to it. At the end of the second act, the pivotal moment, the wall collapses, and you see the band there performing, and they do the finale. And it's so over the top and so dramatic, and it's amazing. So if you didn't know about The Wall, I hope that tells you a little bit about The Wall now. As far as a concert spectacle, The Wall is probably number 1 as far as a stage spectacle. So I'm going to leave it at that. I know this has gone on a long time. I hope everybody's staying safe. Next episode we'll do club shows, and then probably the next episode that we'll do, we'll do theater shows next, do club shows next, and then maybe we'll talk about some festivals I've been to as well. So take care, guys. Love you guys a lot. Stay safe. See you next time.
Finish the puzzle. I duct taped the back and I've hung it up on my wall. So there you go. Just a postscript to that. Remember to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're liking what you're seeing. And that's it. Take care. I'm going to do another jigsaw puzzle soon. Bye.